Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here with, I think, week 1 update for the Selena build here. As you can see, the damage has gotten pretty high here, and we have some differences in the build from the last time we talked. So, first, a couple of things. I've noticed a lot of issues that people are having as they're going through the build. This might be something that's obvious to you. However, getting minimum channel stacks is incredibly important, and you always want to make sure that your minimum channel stacks is directly equal to your maximum. In fact, you shouldn't invest in maximum channel stacks at all. Now, I know that on one of the banners right now is this thing here, Waves FM, and this is actually horrible for the Icebound beam build. It's probably good for other stuff. It gives you +2 max channel stacks. You would assume that that would be good, but this is very, very, very bad for the build. The reason this is bad is because each time you channel the skill, once you reach the maximum channel stacks, which is baseline 5, that's when you fire out all your projectiles. And this might look a little bit weird right now because I've gone into screen settings and turned down, or is it graphics? I've gone into graphics here and turned down the visuals for my skill, but I'll turn it back up here for you so you can kind of see. You can see like all of the projectiles that are firing off all of the time. Now, if I take off my new belt here, that's giving me min channel stacks, you can see that the projectile count that's going out goes down quite dramatically. And that's because we're going 4 to 5 channel stacks, 4 to 5, 4 to 5, 4 to 5. And so getting up to 5 of 5 is really rather important right now. And that's something that you want to focus on. Now, luckily, things like the minimum channel stacks ring are now a lot more viable for you to do. So like wind breath dispersion with +3 minimum, as you can see here, is a lot cheaper than it was before. And this is a really great thing for you to pick up for kind of like getting into mid game and kind of all the way until you're getting to starting to craft priceless gear. The only reason I've gotten rid of this is because we went out and bought this belt. Now just note that just the base for this belt was as much as I originally paid for that ring, which is kind of crazy. And crafting up this type of belt is very, very, very expensive. So I wouldn't recommend trying to go after this until you're like pretty much ready to start pushing very deep. To give you an idea here, these two mods are ultimate affixes. And so additional damage at low mana and max channel stacks. These both have, I believe, a 5% chance to hit here. And each hit costs you about 30 FE plus an ultimate ember, which is about 10 FE right now, maybe 12. So you're looking at like 40 FE just to try. And ideally, I'm going to try to level this up to tier 0 here. And each one of these attempts costs 180 FE, an additional like 60 FE in ultimate embers, another like 60 FE here in sacred fossils. So this is very expensive. Now this claims to have a 30% success rate, and I think we've already hit this 3 or 4 times. So surely for the video here, it'll go up, right? Okay. And then surely for the video here, the other one will go up. Darn. Well, I'm very happy with that because now I can talk about the next step of the build here. So now that we have +2 min channel stacks, we have, by the way, gone back to using channel preparation, which also gives us +2 here. But we can go and into Elementalist and get rid of Quick Ritual, which is giving us 20% additional damage. We can pick either of these two here. Now, I have 24% damage from over here, whereas this would actually give me 25% and a chance to inflict elemental ailment. So I'm actually going to pick Peculiar Vibe for now. However, we will pivot once we get an even more focused blessings stacked up into penetrating. This will give me the ability to like easily have numb, which will be another nice multiplier for us, which is pretty nice. Now, other things we've kind of changed with the gear. We've picked up an Israel's Sorrow. These chest armors are very, very nice. Not hyper expensive either. I've corrupted this one, hit max mana. I corrupted this one as well. And yeah, didn't get very lucky on this. Now, this does have more energy shields. So once I get the energy up, I'll probably switch to this one. But the important thing to note on this is the intelligence requirement. So until you're at the amount of intelligence here, It is very bad. Like this chest armor is very hard to kind of hit those stats. Even like 1200 intelligence, it can be quite a bit here. I've just barely gotten back up to that. And so if you're going to look for one of these, I'd highly recommend shopping for one that has probably less than 1100 intelligence. We're using the old ring that we used before. Probably my next thing is to craft a new ring to go along with this one here. And also for slates, right now our slates are kind of in a weird situation. I don't think that these are all that great. This is a very cheap option for you. I don't remember if I talked about this in the last video, but these additional max damage for every point of chaos. Basically what this does is it extends the damage range for your skills. So if we look at skills here, for example, we can see total spell damage is from 1.4 to 2.1 million. And so what the max damage is doing is it's pulling the max range up. Now, if the range is very tight, then the max damage increasing doesn't really provide you all that much. However, if the range is already kind of big, increasing the max range does give you quite a bit of damage. There's a belt that's kind of just like this in PoE that increases your max and decreases your min. And that is like one of the most powerful belts in the game for attack-based builds, or at least it was. And so this kind of works very similar. These particular slates are incredibly cheap. So if you look at stuff like this, we're looking at like 10 FE basically. And you just want to align them in a way where they touch each other a lot, because they have an effect where adjacent slates that have new god talents also get boosted. So we're doing this like L shape here. It's also boosting this slate over here, which also has additional damage. This max energy shield per intelligence is pretty nice. And then we're using God's Footsteps to also help us out here to give us additional stackingness, if you would. And then the other slate we have here is just giving us 15% intelligence and some other flat intelligence. I could probably drop this off now because I think I have enough intelligence to actually activate my chest and probably get like Focus Blessing or spell skill level. There's a whole bunch of different things they can really aim for. But really, like, I just want to show off these slates in particular because they do provide a lot of damage. However, chaos is kind of a weird thing where you're basically, you start off with 100 order and it slowly every second will build up chaos. And if you die, it will reset all of the way. And so it can take some time to kind of build up the damage. What else to talk about? So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the spikes on the side here. I see a lot of people asking like what's going on with the projectiles. And basically what that is it is the chilling spike thing here. And what this does is it does reduce your damage a little bit, but shoots out 4 additional large icy blade projectiles that always penetrate and do 110% of the base icy blade damage from your skill. So I think this does scale with skill levels, which is pretty nice. And so this is just really rather strong for giving you a lot of damage. And while we're here, let's talk about candles as well. So previously I did have the 1 additional curse candle that's allowing me to use Biting Cold here as a skill, meanwhile having Elemental Destruction here on my ring. And we managed to actually go and solo self-find, craft our own grudge candle, which is pretty huge. This provides you the level 30 grudge support gem, and it does make enemies slightly more damage dealing to you because they penetrate your resistance, which is pretty scary. But you know, grudge does provide quite a bit of damage here. Even at level 20, we can see that it's 25% additional damage to cursed enemies, and more importantly, you have a chance to put paralyze on them, which is 15% more damage on top of that. So just a really, really, truly great multiplier for sure. Also, it just like will just give you a lot of damage. And this like support here does give you a lot of clear, and the support is actually going down quite a bit in price right now, which is pretty good news. So historically, I bought mine for 800 FE, and now they are about 180 or so. And this is pretty nice. So it improves the clear quite dramatically, feels pretty darn great. So I highly recommend picking up one of these. Now, the reason why they're going down is because it appears that tier 0s are finally hitting the ground. And so these are quite expensive. And I would expect the price to kind of like not hit the floor for these, because in order for you to level these skill gems up, you do need to consume them as well. as we'll show off here in a second. So you go over here to the snow paint out, skill advancement. And so if I have, like, for example, these Icebound beam ones that I've been stacking up, if I want to like level up one of these, I have to put in other skills. And a level one gives us +2 juice. You can see we're getting +4 here. And I did go out of my way to test this out to see kind of what it was like. And so like a level 2 gem, if you want to level it up to level 3, requires additional 10 progress here. So that would be 5 more duplicates. However, I did notice that if you take a leveled up one and you put it in, it is getting, I believe, all of the progress that it had before, plus its own base. So this one like had 6 +2 from itself, so -1. So like a level 2 one should give you 7. I believe like a level 2 one would probably give you somewhere around like 4, or probably give you 16 progress. And so it does seem like you can level up one of these and then later transfer it on to a higher level one. It's not really clear whether or not a support is going to give you more damage or more progress if it's high up there. But that's pretty much it for everything. Stuff that we're probably going to be looking to replace. Probably going to replace our amulet to get something that gives us more damage, more intelligence. The ring needs to get improved. We're probably going to be improving our slates, picking up more damage, a little bit more survivability and other things. But we're really just trying to like focus in on probably improving like even our belt here can still have a little bit of room for improvement. Like we still have a tier 3 erosion on here. It'd be really nice if that was like a tier 1 so that we can do this. But once again, crafting these things are very expensive because, for example, erosion res is a like 1% chance here, like up to like 4% here. But like rolling this, I get like a lot of these reap modifiers instead, which is rather frustrating. You have like reap for trauma, reap for ignite, reap for everything, right? And so at pretty much hitting this button, I just expect to see reap on the right hand side. And there we go. We have erosion or something else. And yeah, just every single time, that's kind of how it works out. So I really, once again, would not recommend crafting on a priceless piece of gear until way later. Until like pretty much you have completely gotten the rest of the gear out of the way, especially getting like your dream crafts in. If you haven't seen the video talking about dream crafts, giving you that additional damage, giving you additional curse. I did switch over to aura effect on gloves because I think aura effect is giving me quite a bit more right now. I think it's kind of maybe a little bit underrated. And one last thing, I also do keep a pair of boots that has like movement speed on it, so that when I'm doing like faster paced content, I don't really need my full damage setup. I can get out of the wriggling tangos. And I'm looking at completely getting rid of these boots altogether because I don't like the fact that they don't have movement speed. It just feels really bad. But the besides the skill level, the second line gives you a ton of damage. The main skill is supported by blinding and wind projectiles. Wind projectiles gives you, a multiplicative damage. And then when it's not supported by that, we get slow projectiles, which gives us more damage as well. So these boots are just really, really sneaking strong for that damage. But they just don't have any movement speed, which is really ironic for a pair of boots that's kind of about movement speed. So hopefully they maybe like improve these in the future. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Come by, ask some questions. We're probably going to be checking out, maybe blasting a little bit farther, trying to get up into deep space and having fun. We'll see you guys again soon. Check you later.